Hi everyone, welcome to the Car Chat podcast. And with us today, we have Sergio De Michele. Can you tell the audience a little bit about sort of who you are, what you do?
Okay, I'm the owner and MD of Fire Safety Stick here in the UK and Ireland. And it's about brand awareness of our new product.
I came across you, I saw it somewhere I saw this product. And honestly, it was just like, okay, this seems like a bit of a game changer for car people, humans, whatever. And we got in touch and I came down and had a little chat. We did a little demonstration. You set some stuff on fire, which was fun. And I put it out. But can you let's go back into a bit about you and how you kind of got into all this. What's your background been in all of this? How did you get involved and where did it start off?
So my background is I've done nearly 17, 18 years in the fire industry. So I owned a fire company and I held a whole division within that company, which was servicing, looking after, maintaining traditional fire alarms, fire extinguishers as well. We were quite heavily involved in the residential market, so high-rise blocks and detecting smoke, suppressing smoke, extracting smoke from buildings to save lives. So I think it was late 2018, someone showed me this product online and said, look, you know about fire extinguishers. What do you reckon about this? And it was off the back of a conversation where we were trying to come up with a solution where people could have the option of fighting a fire in the domestic market before it got to out of control.
Right.
What's on the market at the moment wasn't really, you needed training and there was other elements to it. So, and I looked at it and I thought, this, again, like you, this could be a game changer. But unlike most gimmicks that I've seen over the years, I thought, the ball you throw in the fire, you have to be a really good aim, otherwise you miss the fire and it goes off somewhere else. I thought, you know what, it's worth exploring. And it took me about 8 months to get a meeting with the manufacturers up in Italy, but I was persistent. I got my meeting up there. And the Italians, it's manufactured in Italy, and the Italians were fantastic. They were just very welcoming. They gave us full use of their facilities to test the product as we felt, fit. And from the fire background, we know what we were doing, and we had a fun day.
What sort of tests are you doing?
We were doing all sorts. Initially, with any test, you need to find out, does it actually put down a flame? How does it actually work? So once we've learned about the product and we got into it, it was me and my commercial director, Mario. We were putting, it was gas fires, it was A-type fires, which were like, something that keeps residual heat, so you can put the flame down, but can it keep it down? We were doing in containers where we having it where you can activate it, leave it in there, see if it would knock down the flame by itself. But we were making sure that there was still air coming in there. There was lots of fires. We must admit it was an interesting couple of days, but I loved it so much. I actually thought, this is going to be a game changer within the market, within the home and lots of different industries. Now, this product is a global product, but really pushed into the car industry, and I can see it sort of have more uses. So we bought it, I think it was 2019, we brought it back to the UK, where I've bought the UK and Ireland sole distribution rights. And we sat around the boardroom table, and I remember everyone looking at me going, how are you going to get people's mindsets to change with the domestic market and with a brand new product that no one's heard of, no one's seen? We've had traditional extinguishers for decades. If you'll spot a traditional extinguisher a mile across the road, look, it's one of them. I can go grab it, and I don't know what to do with it, but might put myself in danger. But you'll recognise a traditional extinguisher because obviously you've seen the fire stick. It's just completely different. So we decided, and I'm a bit of a petrol head, so is Andrew, who was our marketing director at our main company. And we said, well, do you know what? Let's go and have a bit of fun. Let's go into the car industry. Kit cars, classic cars, motorsport. And we went into, I think our first show was Stoneleigh, 2019 Stoneleigh kit car show. And it was fantastic. And you've got to remember, I'm not a salesperson. Andrew wasn't a salesperson, he was a marketing director. Mario was commercial director. We never done a show before, but all I said to him is that just educate people on the product. Tell people what the product can do. Let them decide themselves. Anyway, I had to phone my wife that night. I said, can you bring more stock up? Because it was a 2-day event. We went out and she had an A-class Mercedes. I just remember her turning up at the hotel we were staying in, and it was just, they're not the biggest of cars, with boot space. And I think my daughter, how old was she? She wasn't that old. She was in a car seat, and there was boxes next to her. It's quite funny. This is when I wish I'd bought a bigger car for her. But there you go. But yeah, and then from there we done Goodwood. We done the boat show, so we went into the car and the marine industry. Had a bit of fun doing it, just educating people on the product and putting it in the hands of people where it was potentially they were going to have fires, and the product could then talk for itself. It could, people could see how it worked, and it was put to the test. I think it's 5 rally cars that we know of that have actually it saved, where your traditional extinguishers have not been effective. Not that traditional extinguishers don't work. 9 times out of 10 is people not using it correctly.
Can we dive into that topic? Because I saw this product and was like, okay, this seems to work great, blah, 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 blah. And then was coming to chat to you about it, and you started to explain a little bit about conventional fire extinguishers and all of the asterisks around conventional fire extinguishers. Can you explain some of the things about conventional fire extinguishers that probably people, like I didn't know, like how to use them, all that sort of stuff?
Okay, so first of all, because people think, oh, I've gone against my old industry and think that that traditional extinguishers don't work. They do work. You've got to have a bit of education, hence why you get fire trained on extinguishers. You don't use certain extinguishers on certain fires because you could be spreading it, like powder extinguishers. You don't use them on liquid fires, so like chip pans and oils and stuff like that, because the velocity you're spreading that fire as well, so you could be putting yourself in danger. Foams, a powder extinguisher, you mostly see people using powder extinguishers incorrectly. I've seen it so many times where they try and put the fire out and go, oh, it's come back. Well, they generally just blast a whole lot of the whole can in one go, and then it's all like, on a 1 kg powder extinguisher, the small ones, and the 2 kgs, they have about 7 or 8 seconds of discharge in one go, but most people just do it in one go, where it's supposed to be puffs. The foam extinguisher is almost laid on top of a fire, so it's a coolant. And again, you've got to know these things, and they have different classes of fire. So we just done a social media thing with some caravan. I think it was Caravan Mummy and Caravan Hub and Travels, where we put some educational parts together. Know your fire types and really getting people to understand. Look, if you have the tools, have the knowledge behind it, and this is where the fire stick comes into its own, where it does work on the major fires. It will knock down the flame. It works slightly different than traditional extinguishers, and you've got a lot longer. So I think when you've done the test, you put the trough fire out, and you've done it correctly, but you had plenty of time that I could have relit it again, couldn't I? And you could have come back and done it.
I think it took like 4 seconds or something to put out this. It's basically a trough full of petrol. For those that are watching, I'll put the clip in now. That's so quick. I think all of the sticks, they're 50 and 100 seconds, aren't they? And I think it was probably out within about 8. And then you've just got, you can do whatever you like with it after that.
Yeah, well, the idea is you keep, even if you put a fire out in 20 seconds, you just keep the vapor on there. It's not causing any damage to whatever you're putting on fire or whatever on fire, because there's no mess. So the idea is you just keep the vapors until it runs out. We didn't, obviously, because there was no need. It was a controlled fire. It was petrol in a trough. But yeah, if you're involved in a proper fire, the idea is just discharge the whole lot. There's no chance for it to come back up. But yeah, there's we've had some great stories. Of course, we love them stories. The idea is, obviously, we've had a lot of success in the car industry, but my aim is not just the car industry. It's getting it is getting it back into the people's homes, bringing fire awareness into it. But there's lots of different industries, from marine to the camping, caravanning. It has so many uses.
Yeah, because I can't really. There's that story about the guy you were telling me who had one in his car, but had a fire in his kitchen. Oh
yes, yeah. So Bacon Butty. So this was in first lockdown, and this guy phoned up, Richard, and if he hears, I'm sure he does actually follow your podcast, so he'll know who he is, Richard. He phoned me up. This is in first lockdown, and his first words were "thank you." And I was like, oh, okay, I'd normally like to do something first and yeah, thank you. But then I heard the emotion in his voice and I thought I better stop mucking about. And he said, you just saved my kitchen. Your products just saved my kitchen. I go, okay, tell me more. What's happened? He said he was doing some bacon butties in his grill for him and his wife, and for whatever reason the grill was caught alight, and he said he's got flames coming out the front, there's flames coming out the back of the grill. And he immediately grabbed his fire blanket, and he's trying to put it, obviously, fire blanket. Again, this is where training comes into it. A fire blanket only works if you can smother. It starves the oxygen on site. So in a grill, it'll never work. It probably, in actual fact, probably made it worse because you're fanning the fire.
Okay.
He's then realised it's not working. He's remembered he's bought a fire safety stick. I think it was at Goodwood. He bought it for his classic car. So he's gone running to the garage, grabbed it, come back. By that time, he said the fire's sort of getting to a point where he wasn't feeling comfortable tackling it, which is fair enough. You shouldn't be tackling a fire. It's not a magic stick. But he felt comfortable. He activated it. His wife was outside phoning the fire brigade, which he should do. He's left it on the flat where the grill comes down, pointing into the grill itself. He's got out, shut the door, and he said within 10 to 15 seconds, fire's gone. He's placed it perfectly, but even if he placed it in the room, it would have hopefully suppressed the fire and brought in them extra kind of minutes. It was just a great testament where it's worked even when he's not been there as well. So I love stories like that, and I don't know if I should be saying this in public because you're going to go out to a big audience. But I said, right, fine, give me your address, I'll send you one. He was like, no way. I said, well, you've done exactly what I've set out for the company to do. This is the whole point of the product. So I've sent them a new one. People, do not go setting fires and thinking you get a new fire stick. It's not safe. This is why we don't make it public. Load of idiots going out setting fires and going, I'm going to do it with my fire stick, put it out, and I'll get a free one. But I remember him saying, this is the best thing I've ever bought from a car show. Normally it's, I don't know, if it's like me, I always
random stuff.
Yeah, random stuff. I always buy tat. I love stuff like that, though, as I said. But yeah. It was just a great story, and that's the whole purpose of me, from that kind of background where I've been really involved in developing products or getting systems working where you're saving, you're potentially saving people's lives, to actually being able to have a product and going, right, we need this in people's homes. We need people. Do you know that for actually? We need to make people fire aware at home. Fire strategies. I'm so sad, but everyone should be that they should, if they're at home, they should be going, right, in event of a fire, what am I going to do? If I'm asleep and I've been woken up by the fire, the smoke detectors, how do I get out? If there's a fire at the bottom of the stairs, what's my exit strategy? Like at my home, we've got the hooks.
Have you got plaques on the wall?
We've got strategies of how we're going to get out in event of a fire.
Yeah.
I've got a fire stick at the top of my stairs in my airing cupboard. It's tucked away, but the family know that, if to aid escape, that, if you need to, that's there. We've got one underneath the kitchen sink. For me, it's always got to be underneath your kitchen sink, because everybody has, you open up cupboards underneath your kitchen sink, it's just full of your cleaning stuff and your bits and bobs. And Andrew has set me up with, comes with a bracket and just screws in underneath there, and it just stays there. 10 years time, that'll still be exactly the same. And it will still be able to work exactly the same as it does today. So you can imagine having that tool. For me, it's a game changer, because we haven't got anything. There's other products in the market. I'm not here to sort of slate other products. But for something to last 10 years without having to have any involvement from someone else, because we're all human. We tick that kind of box of, I've got a fire extinguisher, but then we forget to service them, we forget the shelf life of them. It's just, life gets in the right way. To have something out of the way.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the podcast, because as much as it's fun putting out petrol fires and whatever in a controlled manner, it is actually quite a serious subject, but it doesn't mean you can't laugh about it. But there was loads of elements of this that I didn't know before talking to you, because you're such a fire safety nerd, I think is the correct phrase.
I'll take that.
But the most people don't know. So I've been telling my wife and random friends, this is stuff that you probably don't know and have never thought about. But if there is a fire, this is the sort of thing you need to know about. And for example, say most people, or a lot of people, most people may not, might have a fire extinguisher at home, and they might have a type of fire extinguisher. They're unlikely to have multiple different types, but you never know, they might do. And in which case you're like, okay, do you know, like you were saying about, foam versus water or whatever, you need to know how to use it. Otherwise you could literally be spraying. Well, one, if it's a powder one, you could be literally spraying fire around your house, and then you're breathing in all the powder stuff, which is really pretty horrific for you. All of this stuff. But the thing I didn't know as well, so loads of sports cars. So my GT3 RS came with a fire extinguisher, and it's quite, I guess it must be like a 2 kilo one. I don't know, something like that, like a big watermelon sized. That, and then I obviously didn't put it in the car because it took up too much space. Sensible. I
think it's
but I wasn't aware that needed servicing, and if you don't service it, it literally may not won't work.
I was going to say they won't work as the manufacturers they're supposed to. And again, powder in a car, what people don't realise with again, I'm going to get hated for this, but a car's going to get hot, cold. And with that powder, you're vibrating that powder, so you're compacting that powder. So one of the things, is actually making sure that powder is going to be fluffed up, so it's ready. If it is on the right, situation, it's going to come out, and it's going to, if you've got 8 seconds, you want 8 seconds. If you've got 12 seconds, you want 12 seconds. Don't forget about the damage. It's very corrosive. Again, it always baffles me, people carrying powder in their cars. Yes, it's going to put a fire out, if it's used correctly. And then you've got an engine strip, because it's, again, it's
You've
very
completely lunched everything.
I was going to say, please, whatever happens, do not breathe it in. But if you can, it can be helpful. I was going to say, when one of the rally fires that, so we always try and interview the person who was involved, so we've got the facts, rather, their version rather than other people's version. So I remember speaking to one guy, And he's actually, it was him and his son. His son was the co-pilot, co-driver, and they put the fire out with the fire safety stick. They used the foams, didn't work. Used the fire stick, put it out, and they were so happy. But they were there, literally, there was still smoke coming out, but it was out, and the fire stick had done its job, and he was so happy. And then someone run over, didn't realise that the fire was out, and literally doused him and his car with a powder extinguisher. And he said to me, he goes, that night my adrenaline was high, my heart rate was high, I was really ill. I was like, did you breathe? He goes, I had the powder all over me. I was like, well, the heart rate's probably because you breathed in the powder, because it raises your heartbeat and it made you ill. I've had it many times where I've had some toilet issues after breathing that stuff in. But again, we've used it, for years where we've like shown people, training people how to use extinguishers. Again, it's a very good firefighting equipment. It's powder is one of the better ones because it does more categories. The only one it doesn't do is the F-type categories, which is your fats and oils and stuff like that. So, it does need to come over a health warning. I have been saying that for many, many years.
Yeah, and that bit about, because essentially it works. It's a powder in a canister under high pressure. So if that powder gets compacted, which is what happens just over time naturally, or as you're saying, if it's being shaken regularly, it will just not work very well. Like you only get, it might be 8 seconds, you might get one. Which I not really thought, as someone that doesn't know anything about this, I sort of look at a fire extinguisher and go, that's going to work. Even if it's been there for 20 years, I'm like, obviously that's going to work because a fire extinguisher, that's what it does, which is absolutely not the case. How do conventional sort of fire systems built into cars work?
Again, there's so many of them out there. You've got your typical ones, which, again, the built-in systems are fantastic. If your fire's here and your fixed system's here, you've got a good chance of it actually going out. But unfortunately, you don't know where the fire's going to be. So they obviously put nozzles in, and you've got so many different types where you got different ranges of cost. The more expensive ones, which are the gas, the clean agent ones, they're very efficient. Again, I think in rallying you have to have fixed suppression systems. Yeah. This isn't going to replace anything like that. But there's lots of different ones. Again, you've just got to be mindful about which ones you're buying. My recommendation is, if it's for motorsports and rallying, there's certain tick boxes, and people just go for the basic one and realise, well, I didn't put my fire out. Well, again, this is if your fixed system is here, that's not going to change, and your fire's here, great, but that might not be there. It's a fire. It could be anywhere. It could be. Yeah.
For those that are listening, essentially, if you've got a nozzle spraying and it sprays onto fire, great. But it might not. It might be pointing in a different direction. Fire might be in a different place.
This is why the more expensive ones, the kind of gas ones, where it's a clean agent, very similar kind of. I can't remember. I don't want to say a brand. That's what I say. It's a gas one, but they're more expensive. They're hugely more expensive, but effective. Again, it's one of the things you pay for what you get. They do work because they're not. They fill that area. So the fire could be here, and and the fixed suppressant here, and it'll still do the job. But again, there's it's great. Fixed systems are great. I can't. But you're not going to put that in your, sports car or your normal car. They are mainly.
And we've all. I think I used to think, okay, fires in cars was like an old cars problem, like a classic car problem. Okay, I've not thought this for a while, but I used to think that and go like, okay, well, if you're with an old car, some hoses might come off, whatever. This is not going to happen on modern cars. And then I'm sure everyone over the last 10 years is aware of many, many manufacturers. No manufacturer is safe from this, they'll launch a car and then inevitably at some point in time they start setting on fire. and you see just owners just standing there on the side of the road as their car just like disappears in front of their eyes. And I think most people I know wouldn't have a fire extinguisher in their car. But when I saw these sticks, one thing, like with the expiration date, like they last a really, really, really long time. Now, I know you're not allowed to say they last more than 10 years, but in terms of structure and whatever, the materials don't break down ever. So it's not like you're compacting powder or whatever. You can just like nod and whatever. But essentially you could have one of these things, and in 20 years time, if you still had it, you could try it and it might still work. Whereas your fire extinguisher is toast.
Yeah, again, there is an easy test to know if the fire stick's going to work, after 10 years. Some countries, some of, because obviously it's a global product, the resin, that's what's inside. That's the solid resin. That it's not going to expire. It's once you activate that, and that's what we give the 10 years to. It's the bit that activates this. Very similar to a match. I shouldn't really be saying this. You're almost starting a fire to put out a fire. You're actually striking it.
Yeah.
Well, you've done it, so you'll see what I mean. But yeah, some countries around the world do actually say, and I don't agree with this one. They do. They say it's not got an expiry date. I'm not a believer of that, because you've got to have some kind of way of testing. Is it still fit for purpose? So I know the manufacturers have tested them past 10 years. In the right environments, they will work. No doubt that if it's in a kitchen, underneath the kitchen sink in a good environment, it will last more than 10 years. But there is ways of testing it to say, is it actually going to still be okay? Which, again, as we go through time, we'll be doing the education of going, right, is it still okay? But apart from that, the rest of it, plastic handle, aluminium tube, it's striking.
That'll be around for a while.
Yeah, they're going to be around for a while. So, and once someone said to me, "This will outlast me." I was like, "Okay." You're something I don't.
So yeah, also, if you keep playing with fire, no, I guess because the failure point is just the bit that lights at the end. That's the only bit that could fail. So failing that, you can literally just lob the whole thing in a fire, and eventually it would go off. Or you could just light it off the fire that you're trying to put out. Possibly not the safest thing, but it is possible.
It is. Well, someone actually, I don't know if I told you this story, but in the early days, someone said to me, goes, "Well, what happens if it's in a fire?" I was like, "What do you mean?" "Well, what happens if it's in the fire itself? Let's say."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, weird question, but okay, relevant." And I said to Andrew, I said, "We need, I spoke to the manufacturers. I said, well, it's just going to activate. Nothing's going to happen." So I said, "Well, look, we need to test it. We've just got this. We were doing lots of tests. This is in the early days, and in my house, I got an outside pizza oven. Being Italian, got all the gear. Just no idea. But I've got an outside pizza oven, and I said, well, look, why don't we film it and we'll get the fire going in the pizza oven. We'll throw it in and see what happens, and we can time it and test the temperature where it activates." So Andrew's there. He's got all the cam. He's got all the gear set up. I phone it in, and he looked at me. He went, "You're not worried?" I said, "Worried about what?" He goes, "Well, what about if it just explodes? It's your pizza oven." I said, "Mate, if that cracks my pizza oven and explodes, I've got a bigger problem." He goes, "What's that?" "I've got thousands of these in the warehouse. I'm going to be wheeling them out." But no, it did. I can't remember. It was quite hot before it self-activated, and it just like the normal. Unfortunately, where I'd phone it in, it was pointing out of the fire. So all the vapours would go that way, and the fire was here. So that would have been a good video for it actually to put out the fire that was in. But it didn't.
Yeah, because that is an interesting part of this sort of situation is you can light it, set it down somewhere or throw it or whatever, and it will keep going in the direction that it's going, and that could put out the fire. So you could, let's say it's in your car and there's one in the back, you can point it at it, and then if you're like, fire, cars, explosions, maybe not, just drop it on the back. it'll do something and then get out of there.
Yeah, I was going to say, be unlikely to put the fire out, but it will suppress it. It won't grow as much. But one of the tests we've done in Italy was a closed environment. Again, in a car you've got lots of air coming and circulation, so it's not going to keep it contained with the vapor. But we've done it with a closed environment where we lit a fire, put the second, I think it was 100 second we put in, shut the door. We made sure there was air going in, so there was it wasn't being starved of oxygen. We wanted to see what happened, and we were watching through the actual bits around the side, and put the fire out, took it out, relit the fire. The fire was still there, but it had actually. So in environments where there's like kitchen or something like that where you can just activate it, it will hold it back. In the right environment, it'll put it out. Chimney fires. We had someone here from who's well into his say chimneys. What are they called?
Log burners.
Log burners. That's it. I don't know what. I've got one as well. Do you know when you get your chimney sweeper comes and chimneys and sweeps the chimney, so you don't have a fire in there? And he was telling me how many fires are in the UK in chimneys, and he's like, really? He goes, well, yeah. He goes, and the only way, and again, I don't know this because it's not my area of expertise, but apparently the only way to put it out if you've got a fire in your chimney is that they put a hose down your chimney.
Oh, from the top.
And he was really excited about this product because this product can now, he reckons we're going to do a test on it. We're actually working with some manufacturers to do some tests on it where we can then put it in the actual log burner, shut the door, shut the vents, and then see if it puts fire out in the flue. Which will be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to that. Not that I like to set fires and put them out,
It's better to do it in a controlled environment, isn't it? Or a slightly controlled environment. Yeah. It's kind of fun.
Oh, it is. But I was going to say, the thing is, my main company, the company before, we had a health and safety guy, and Chris, you'll know who you are. I'm talking about you. And he absolutely went nuts at me once because I can't remember what I was doing, but I was messing about with this, and I was getting all the cutting it and messing about trying to work out things. And we were in our warehouse in the main company, and that was under the health and safety of this of Chris. And I was like, I wonder what happens with the powder, and what would I was lighting it, and it actually turned into the potassium. I was thinking, what a great idea! I can actually now get this into CNC machines, electrical cupboards, and actually have it where once it falls onto a fire, it will activate. And I go right bollocking, even though I own the business, as the MD. And I used to always get told off by health and safety because he was like, I keep you out of prison. So I just moved it to another building and started doing my experiment.
You're not stopping me playing, so I'm going to have to move.
Yeah, I move it to a building where you've got no jurisdiction. But again, that's my background. I started the main company 17, 18 years ago as an engineer. Man in a van. I was really good at customer service. I was really good at solving problems, and the company grew from there to one of the a national company that was, I think it was the only company at the time that had its full line accreditations from security, fire to smoke ventilation. And that was driven through passion. It was a well-known business. That's still going. I've started at Fire Safety Stick here 4th of January this year to really sort of bring the passion, my passion to it, and get my kind of vision of where I want it to. Hence why I've built my my office, where, if you probably can see, where we've had a game of pool.
We did. I won.
You did win. You know what? Actually, completely off topic. You actually started something. So,
dear.
Because I kicked myself. You went. I kicked myself. I went. Do you know what? I didn't take any pictures of you playing pool and you winning.
Yeah.
And I thought that I missed an opportunity. And again, I thought, right, what can I do to make sure I don't miss opportunities and invite you back for game 2? So we came up with the 7-ball challenge. So very similar to like Top Gear again, petrol head.
Yeah.
So love all that stuff. We got I'm actually getting a magnetic sheet metal made up.
Yeah.
We're going to get all the stickers so we can actually put people's times. And we're doing a 7-ball challenge. So it will be 6 colour balls and then a black. We're going to have a clock with a red button, right? You press it, you brake, you've got to put all the colour balls first and then the black, and then you've got to run, press it, and then your time. So we're going to invite like distributors, customers in, and almost do it on that kind of back wall.
And you're going to call it the pool wall.
The pool wall. And then we'll have photos. And you actually, it was your, again, we're gonna honour it to you, because it was because I missed the opportunity, because obviously we've only just opened, so we've only just started inviting people over, and it was me going, oh, why didn't I take a picture? So there you go. So next time you come and you get the picture up there, you go, that's because of me.
when I arrived in the office,
I've got to blame something else on you as well, actually. Coffee art.
Oh, right. We spent like 20 minutes talking about coffee, resin tables.
Resin tables, coffee art. I watched a YouTube channel on how to do coffee art. Again, I think there should be some courses on that, because I love my coffees. So it's good. It's all good fun.
How's the success rate now? Is it better?
No.
This is one of those topics that I was saying. It's a bit like, so I used to do a lot of skiing back in the day, and you'd watch a video on like, I don't know, some freestyle stuff, how to do a trick. And it would basically be like, go over jump, do trick, land. And you're like, that's not how I quite work it out. And I feel like it's the same with coffee art. You watch a video and someone will be like, here's made the milk. They're like, froth the milk, blah, blah, blah. Even that in itself, we know there's like 100 stages of what should be right. And then they pour it and they're like, just pour it in. And it comes out with this insane thing. And you're like, okay, well, I haven't really learned very much there.
The problem is I've drunk so much coffee, messing about, trying to do the art.
That's the problem.
And like trying to get the grinds right. And it is. Someone actually did say to me, it will turn into a hobby. And I was like, no, it's like coffee. And now I'm getting really, I need to find someone who actually does classes on coffee art. Because I'll just go, like, teach me how to do it. Or I might go and get a job at Costa Coffee or something. You might see.
Yeah, because you probably get training like day one, like how to do it all. And you're like, okay, cool, I'll come work one Saturday and then I'm leaving.
I'm leaving now. What do you mean you're leaving? I want to find out how to do the coffee as I'm going.
That is the move. That is an absolute move, because I'm sure they've got it nailed how to teach someone.
I don't know. Someone out there has. It's not me.
So car wise, you're a bit of a petrol head.
Yes.
Have you what are you driving?
My daily is a Model 3 Performance.
Now, see, that's interesting. To a lot of people, that might be controversial. To me, that's actually not that controversial. What do you like about it? Do you like it?
Again, I've had so many cars. I love cars. I change cars all the time. I can't even list how many cars I've had, but I get bored really quick. I'm trying to find a reason to get rid of the Model 3, but every time I'm in it, I just think it's a weapon. It's way too fast, like for the actual brakes that it's got on it and so on. I am actually starting to think, well, if I'm going to keep it, I probably need to upgrade the brakes. And it is the performance. It's got decent brakes, but it's a license killer. It really is, because it's so silent. No one's thinking you're kind of, if you drive down the road and you've got a nice car and the exhaust is going, everybody knows you're either breaking the speed limit, which you shouldn't be. Yeah.
Or you've got a loud car. One or the other.
Loud car. So you're drawing attention with the Model 3, with the electric car. It's just like, you could whiz through places and no one knows. You're just not being dramatic, and you're like thinking, I do love it. It's not a petrol head's car, but it's a driving man's car. I love the fact of country lanes. Again, I love driving it rather than looking at it. I don't think it's the prettiest car. I tried to get for the best combination in my opinion, but again, it ticked the boxes. It was red with the white interior, which is very controversial, especially that I wear jeans all the time. Wet wipes,
baby wipes. Yeah.
Have a packet of wet wipes right next to you. But I love it. I really do love it.
And in terms of usage of that car, so what's the theoretical range of the performance?
310, I believe. It can charge it to a trip, so 310 miles. But
yeah, and what do you get?
I'm nowhere near that. I always work it on the base of 75% of what it's telling me, but it could be me driving like an idiot. So I'm sure you'll get closer to that if you drive it like a normal person.
So, and do you generally do round trip to home, or do you charge when you're out and about?
No. My every time I've been driving, it seems to be going to rugby services where they've got.
Okay.
I don't know what I know it like the back of my hand now, because if I'm travelling up to Birmingham or Manchester or something like that, that's my kind of one. It always tells me, I'll go here, why not? The Tesla as well. It just has that infrastructure, in my opinion. Again, all in my opinion, it just seems to have the infrastructure. I know the infrastructure of the other cars are growing, because at rugby they've got just as many normal chargers as Teslas, which is quite good. But again, I probably could, with the kind of travelling I do, mainly from home to the office, which is like 20 minutes. I probably could get away with it. But yeah, I do like the. Where did I go? Margate. For all places. I mean, I was going to say we stopped at Blue Water, charged there, done a couple of days in Margate, family weekend, came back, charged again at Blue Water, came home. No range anxiety here.
That's good, because I have an E208 and I generally do round trip to home. I don't really charge on the road. And the thing I've noticed, the problem with, let's say, non-Teslas, and I believe Teslas are very good at doing this, is you don't really know if there's someone at the charging point. You don't really, unless you do a lot of research essentially around what company you're going to go visit, all that sort of stuff. Whereas like Tesla, it seems like you can put it into the car, I want to go there, and it will find a charging point, and it knows if people are there or not, doesn't it?
That's really clever. It does. It tells me 12 stalls available out of 50.
Yeah.
It's like, happy days. I've never been to a Tesla charger unit outside of my home that I've had to wait. But I've actually seen other people waiting for chargers, and a friend of mine's got an electric car, and he never had the problem, and I think it was this weekend, just gone. He said he had to wait nearly 30 to 40 minutes before he could get into the charger. On top of the amount of time he was... Again, for me, I probably could get away with it, because I do a lot of, round trips from home. I charge at home mainly. But if you're someone out and about, I think the infrastructure... I don't know how true this is. Could be, please do not take this literally, because I'm nowhere official for this, but I heard that a story, this is years ago, when Tesla, Elon Musk went to the big manufacturers about building this infrastructure, and he wanted to get them on board and get everyone to build this together, and they told him, who are you, go away. So he had to do it on his own to get this infrastructure up and running. Otherwise, his brand would fail. And again, he had to, I think he's done it the right way. He built the infrastructure. If I put in my car Rome, Italy, and I want to travel from here to Rome, it will tell me it will do my plan. It will tell me where I've got to stop, how long I've got to stop for to get to the next one. You know what? If I was doing that journey in a petrol car, the amount of research you would have to do, like, where am I going to stop and tie in, it's almost done it for me. Not that I've got any intentions of driving to Rome. I'm not that crazy.
but you could, like, it's definitely possible, and it does happen with, it's not happened to me, but it's happened to my wife, where I think she went to Bristol and back and needed to charge on the way back. Didn't do as much planning as I would, because I realized that this is a very serious issue when it goes wrong, and arrived at a charging point and had to wait like 40 minutes. And then it wasn't like a crazy fast charger either. So I think she was there for like an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes or something like that. And you're like, oh God, that's awful.
Well, I was going to say, all minimal experience, but every time I've supercharged, it's always buzzing me saying, you need to go and move your car, otherwise you're going to get, because you charge more for just staying put at a Tesla charger than actually charging. So I'm always rushing back and then moving my car to a space and then going back, because I'm finished having me lunch there or something, and with kids and that, it always takes lots more time than the charger does. But again, I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. I don't think they're the best looking cars, I'm not going to lie.
No. And the bit I don't like is I think the exterior I could live with. Like, I'm okay. It could definitely look better. The interior and some of the interior stuff I really struggle with. But I think at the moment, if I needed to do long journeys and I was going to get an electric car, I'd have to have a Tesla, because it's the range. No one else has the range at the moment. And the charging. But the charging is the most important bit. But soon, in theory, these charging points are going to be open to other people, which I'm quite looking forward to.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You're probably like, no.
Now I'm not going to get charged. That was the whole point. No, I have heard that, which is, again, it makes sense, but from a Tesla owner's point of view, don't like it.
Yeah.
Do you know, you were saying about the inside? I know exactly. That was the bit that put me off. It was like, it was too plain. I like my buttons. I like my gadgets. I like, actually having the cockpit, because you spend most of the time in the cockpit, so you want it nice. And I can tell you now, I like it. I actually fell in love with it. You get used to that one screen. Everything's there. You don't miss the fact of, like, because I've had heads up displays. We were talking about that. It's just really simple. And the fact of, I didn't know if I was going to get used to, with the stalk, reverse, park and drive on the steering wheel. Reminds me of, but it's very American.
Very American, yeah.
But it's just so easy. It really is. I drive here at Firestick. We've got a manual van, and we're jumping in and out of that, and remembering, like, the oh God, the amount of times my window wipers have gone on when I'm trying to pull off, because I'm like thinking I just moved the stalk.
Yeah.
Actually go over. And again, my other car, I'm a big bike man as well, and I'm lucky enough to have a kind of sports car. But again, I have to remember.
What sports car?
Don't hate me for this. It's a Lamborghini Performante.
I'm not going to hate you for that.
I'm talking.
My only thing about the Performante, they sound great, they look great, they're pretty fun, is the seats. I find the seats unbelievably uncomfortable.
For the comfort seats.
And then they're better than the buckets.
I remember sitting. I had some really good advice from Carell at Lamborghini Hatfield, and he was really good. He said, sat me in a bucket seats, and they look amazing. They do look amazing. But
they look cool,
I sat in there, I was like, oh, this hurts. You can't drive this. He's like, oh, you can put cushions. But I was like,
that's it.
Yeah, I went for comfort.
You've got to put cushions in them.
Yeah. On the bucket ones, they are. It's a well-known thing. I'm not saying anything that people don't know. They look great. Great for track. But not for normal day driving.
I don't think they're that great for track. No. I think it's one of those decisions, but because they're uncomfortable. So if you want to be in the car, even if you went to a track day and you're in the car all day, you're going to be massively uncomfortable. Whereas other bucket seats from other manufacturers are comfy, or more comfy anyway. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. But so you like the Performante?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It doesn't get used as much as it should do. I need to find excuses to use it more with all the stuff that's going on. But I've also got motorbikes. Well, I'm actually just down to one now, which is quite thankful for my wife.
What's your motorbike of choice?
I've got it. It's the Ducati. It's the Ducati Diaval Black and Steel. So it's literally the new edition that's come out.
It's like a big ass, badass monster thing.
Yeah, right? It's basically a monster on steroids. Which I had the monster, the 2021 new monster. So I got that and got it, and it matched. It was like the matte grey one to match the perf. Just because I wanted it. I was getting back into bikes after 20 years. So my oldest son is 20. And I remember when he was announced, I handed my bike keys and went, stopped smoking and stopped riding bikes because one of them was going to kill me. I was a bit of an idiot.
Didn't stop playing with fire.
I wasn't playing with fire as much. But yeah, it was, and I've only just got back into it. My lifestyle's changed. Obviously, I'm not as stressed. I'm not in the corporate kind of life. So my mentality's changed. So I wasn't going to be rushing around, and I ride a bike like a car, kind of drive a car, well, actually not the Tesla, but a normal car. So I'm not overtaking people. I'm not going down the middle line and getting to traffic lights. I'm the idiot sitting behind you, like literally just going with the traffic and just enjoying riding a bike, not like for speed. It's
going too crazy and whatnot.
But that
bike looks like a beast.
It is. Have you got it's black and steel, which is yellow and grey and matte black on one side, which I don't get. But my little daughter calls it the Bumblebee. That has got a launch button on it. Okay, and I remember the guy said to me, he goes, right, this button is a button you don't press. I said, what is that? And what is it? He goes, it's a launch button.
Yeah.
He goes, it's fast enough without it, so don't press it. He goes, you got three times you can do launches on it, and then it's a new clutch. And I was like, well, you know what? Not that. I was thinking, this is fast enough as it is. I don't need.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the back wheel is so big. It puts a lot of grip on the back, and it just goes. But again, I'm riding it sensibly. Because I know too many people have got injured over the years and unfortunately lost their lives. So I want the joy of it, but I don't want to be, I'm driving it sensibly.
You want to come back home?
I want to come back home, yeah. I definitely do. Just want to enjoy it. But I'm trying to put some miles on it to actually get it to its first run-in period so I can go over 6,000 revs. But I'm struggling putting the miles on. Especially with web.
Can you put it on like a rolling road for a bit?
Right?
Can you put it on a rolling road for a bit?
Just get someone else to ride it. When we go back with 600 so I can actually can bring it over 6,000 revs.
Yeah, but I bet if you get someone else to ride it, it will go over 6,000.
Yeah, they don't care.
They were like, no, I kept it at 3 all the time. Yeah, sure.
My store keeps on going down, so that's why I keep on disappearing. I'm going down like that. What's going on?
Watch it. Sergio just keeps, slowly lays the lift. Just going further down. Right. Well, I normally wrap these up with 5 questions. So, do you have a most memorable driving trip or journey?
Yes. It's got to be, undoubtedly. We done a road trip from Luton to Edinburgh. We all had to buy a car for under £500.
Okay.
We done it for MS charity, and there was 3 of us. It was almost like a trial before we sort of put it out there to everyone. Yeah. We had loads of different tasks along the way, and the most memorable part was we all had to dress up. So I think I was a giraffe or a chicken. I think I was a chicken. But there was Peaches from Super Mario. There was Andrew was dressed as Super Mario. Then we had 2 teddy bears, and Whitney Bay, there's a causeway. So one of the tasks, we had to get and take a photo in the lighthouse. but you had to get back before the before it like the water was coming off, and
flooded.
I just remember, the pictures some people must have taken, because there was a giraffe, a chicken, 2 teddy bears, and Super Mario and Peaches running across the causeway, splashing in this water, trying to run to the car park. And then remember someone saying, "There's someone running off with a inflatable crocodile out of one of them cars," because that was one of the. It was just absolutely crazy, and we want to do it again. I bought an MX-5 from a lady,
right?
And it was £400, and she said that it keeps on overheating. So I thought I'll buy it and I'll fix it before we go up.
Yeah.
And never went wrong. They're absolutely fantastic. An MX-5. I've never had an MX-5. This was my first one, and it ended up being a Jasper Conrad. I only found that out because I lifted the lid and it was.
What's a Jasper Conrad?
It's a special edition apparently, but it was like 249 of 500.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I was like, and they were like looking at me going, "How jammy are you? You've bought a car that there's nothing wrong with, and it's a special edition." But the idea was we were going to do all the tasks, get to Edinburgh, then you add up your points and whoever wins, but you sell the car there, and then whatever you make out of the money is your travel back.
Okay.
But all of us loved our car so much, we didn't sell them. We bought them back because we wanted to do it again, and that's definitely got to go down as the most memorable. We're going to do that again. We're gonna get a fire safety stick one, and we're going to do it for charity. We're going to get lots of distributors to do it as well, and then whatever we make out of that, we're going to. We'll watch this space. Watch this.
Are you going to drive a bunch of cars that are likely to set on fire?
But if they do, we'll put them out.
But you're not going to pick chronically unreliable cars.
Can I mention the one that I said to you that I wanted to buy for the company?
You can absolutely mention that.
No, because I wanted to make.
I think you got told you can't though.
Yeah, I got told by two people. The accountant went, "You sure you can do that?" And by someone saying that they're going to sue you if you wrap this sports car in fire safety.
So I'll outline this and then we can move on. So Sergio, well, I think we just met. And I'm trying to work out like how serious this guy is, like what's the vibe. And he's like, okay, one of the ideas I've got for fire safety stick is going to take this well-known supercar brand that has set on fire occasionally, and I'm going to brand it fire safety stick and drive it around. And I was like, you absolutely need to do that. But apparently the marketing team are like, it might piss some people off. But you can draw your own conclusions on that one. If you can only drive one car for the rest of your life and you're allowed a car that costs £500 on the side, what would it be?
Like £500 has got to be the MX-5.
Okay.
It's a no-brainer. I absolutely love that. Oh, wow. I'm going to be really boring and say it's got to be the Tesla. As long as there's charging.
Fair enough.
It ticks the boxes of speed.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to say reliability. I haven't had a problem
for now,
but
it should be reliable.
Do you know what? I'm going to give some credit here with Tesla. Anytime I've had a problem, like I think it was my rear lights fogged up. I went on the app, booked it in. They came to the house, changed it over, and disappeared.
They did it at the house.
At the house, literally.
I like that.
And this is the difference. Where if that was another manufacturer, and I've had lots of cars and brand new ones or secondhand where they've been under warranty, whatever it is, you have to go back to the main dealer. Yeah, you've got to take time out of your day. They're going to give you a new car.
Yeah, but
Tesla just came to the house, just done it, and went. I think actually there was something else. My camera on the side went. Yeah, I don't know if it went. It was just literally black.
Yeah, not working.
But booked it up on the thing. They came, done it. And I was good to go, but yeah,
that I really rate that, and that's something like say what you want about Tesla for various reasons and whatever, but the shaking up of the conventional way that things have done, and like I really when I drove a Model 3 Performance for like 20 minutes or something just around town, and straight away I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this is like living in the 21st century when you look at the tech and whatnot, and you're like the cameras, because you get in a car and the cameras are like 430p or whatever, something just, something prehistoric. Now I know there's probably various reasons why and blah blah, reliability and whatever, but I was very impressed with that on the Tesla. And then things like you just said, like coming and coming to your house and repairing your car or fixing a bit if it needs fixing. Taking a car to a dealership is such a faff.
Yeah.
Like it takes so long, and then you've got no car often to come back.
That is true. Again, I've done it many times, and sometimes I have to say to him, "Listen, you best be giving me a nice car to like a courtesy car, because I'm putting myself out here, and it shouldn't have gone wrong." But again, I think we get so used to that. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
Have then something different, and actually that camera one, I remember I think it was like early in the morning, and I said to my wife, "Listen, I need to take your car because I need to go." And the guy turned up, and I gave him the little card and put everything on the side. This was through COVID, so you couldn't come close and that. And I shouted out, "I'm going to take your car because I need to go." Went to the door. The guy put the card back. He goes, "It's all done. I'm going." I was like, I shouted back to my wife, "Don't worry, I'll take my car." She goes, "It can't be done."
That's
with it.
good.
But I'm guessing it's just unplug, plug a new one in. It was it weren't hard, but they didn't make a drama of it. Wrong.
I rate that. I rate that customer service. That's pretty good. Right. What is the most undervalued car at the moment? What should be worth more?
I was actually going to say a Cosworth, but they've gone shooting up in value.
They have
Stupid amount of money. Because there was a point where there was my old Cosworth. I remember when I sold it, I wish I hadn't. And then they've just gone up and up. And, again, I don't know. That's a really hard one. Probably not the right man to answer that one.
The £500 MX-5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Jasper Conrad. I'll be selling it soon. It'll go up.
Okay, next question. Most interesting car to you at the moment? What are you Googling? What are you looking up? What are you looking forward to?
Do you know what? I am the car. I keep on saying that I want to. If I was going to get out of the Tesla, given the car, I've been looking at the new Bentley, the GT. I keep on looking at it, but then I remember. Again, this is really going to be controversial. I always remember saying to people that you've either got to have a stupid amount of money to own a Bentley, or you got to be really stupid. It costs an absolute fortune to service and maintain. And I'm probably completely wrong, but I keep on looking at it. And do you know what I like about the Bentley? The buttons, the tech, all really nice, and it's really kind of makes you feel special when you're in it.
It really does.
Where if you even like the Rolls Royce and stuff like that, there's kind of their tech's a bit. Yeah,
it's not quite the same, is it? Like they've got the luxury element, but the new Bentleys, and they've all kind of got a similar interior. They're just so nice inside.
Nice chrome buttons.
And it's that blend of like the right buttons and, like you say, you've got the spinning display and whatnot and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But okay. I was looking at them, and I just have to keep on reminding myself that.
My 2 cents on that car is that I would have a V8.
Oh, would you?
Personally.
So I'd go for that.
Well, I think my reasons for V8 are it's a bit cheaper, but that's not the main reason. I think it sounds better. It's a bit lighter.
Yeah.
And so it's basically as fast, ish, but it sounds better and it's lighter.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard them both.
Okay.
Together, so.
If at some point you're looking at them and you're going to, even if you're just going into a dealer and being like, I'm thinking of buying one, I want to do a test drive, even if you're not, make sure you drive a V8 as well.
Yeah, I will do. My wife wants me to get the DBS. Aston Martin. That's her kind of the car that, you know.
How do you sit on Aston Martin versus Ferrari in terms of 812 versus DBS? I think the 812's kind of gone up in price again now, but
yeah, I would go Ferrari because again, it's you know, I think I would only really go with the Aston just to please my wife because, but then
I think if she sat in the Ferrari, I think if she went in the Ferrari,
maybe, probably right.
The noise is just complete different ball game in the Ferrari.
See, I haven't had a Ferrari. It's one of the boxes I need to tick.
It's got to be ticked at some point.
It's definitely got to be done. It's just knowing the right one.
Yeah,
you know, where you're not where you're going to be able to enjoy it and not lose.
Not lose loads of money. Yeah. It's all that crazy calculation of what car when. Yeah. The one I'm really interested in at the moment is a 355 Challenge.
Okay.
So it's still, you can still drive it on the road, but it's the one that was, you know, built to be a race car.
Yeah.
Because I quite like the 355. Sounds really good. And the Challenge just sounds like it's a bit more niche.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, you know, you're going down the rabbit hole of like niche.
Yeah.
Right. Final question. 5-car garage, unlimited value.
Do you know, I've been thinking about this. And I'm gonna it's almost you've got to have a classic in there. You know, you've got to have the I said it before, the Cosworth. In my garage, if I kind of visioned my garage, and it's got to be, I'm going to put the Perf in there because I really like the Perf.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in there because it to me that ticks all the boxes. You know, it's drivable, it's fun, it's out there, outrageously looking as well.
Yeah.
Can I put the Tesla in?
You can. I mean, you can. Would you? You wouldn't get a Model S?
No. Model 3. I'll tell you why. The Model S, again, I could be speaking, this is just my opinion, please don't shoot me for this one.
Well, that's all this is.
I test drove the Model S, and it was just a bit too big, as in not as nimble as the 3. And as a daily driver, to get in every day, and you're just literally using it as a daily driver, the compact of the Model 3 it was more up my street. So I wouldn't go for this.
Fair enough.
I have looked at is it the Plaid? Was it?
Plaid? Yeah.
I'm
1,000 horsepower.
I've looked at that and I'm thinking, should I do it? What do you reckon? Should I do it?
I think if you do it, don't do it with the yoke. You know how you can get that stupid joystick steering wheel?
I don't think you can choose, can you? I think it comes.
Oh, you can have either. You can have a normal wheel.
Can you?
Yeah.
So I would want.
Absolutely.
Maybe I would go for the yoke just to be different.
Oh, but that in practicality is going to be horrific.
Yeah, I know, but at least you'll know.
It's got the same degree steering wheel as a normal car, so it's like 800 degrees. So to do a 3-point turn, you're going to have to turn that, like, what is it, 2.5 times? And like, there's nothing to hold on to.
You always put one of them things,
the lorry guys. Yes,
you just like doing that.
Just do that. That's the move. That's what needs to go on a yoke. In fact, that could go on a lot of steering wheels. I can see why they use it.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? It just if I was gonna, I'm trying to find something to maybe move from the Model 3. Maybe that's it. I don't know when they're coming to this country, but I know they're out in America, and I'm watching some of the YouTubes. Some crazy.
They're mental.
They are.
As far as I've heard, they are crazy fast.
I'll tell you what's in my Tesla garage, in what I have put a deposit down for whenever it's going to happen, is the Cybertruck. So I've put my money down. As in,
that is not happening.
Listen, I've got to hope. Do you know? And someone said,
"Yeah, maybe."
That's ugly. And I actually said, well, that's 100% a fire safety stick advertising.
Yeah.
You get that, and you completely wrap that, and you drive that around the streets. People are going to be looking at it going, wow, that's really ugly. Oh, hold on, what's that branding on it?
Yeah.
So again, that is actually, on Tesla, you can when you order them, that's actually there with my deposit on it.
Okay,
and it's
nice.
£100. It's like, I don't know if you get it back if they don't ever do it, but that's got.
You probably don't.
Huh?
You probably don't. They'll be like, you can put it towards this next project that might never come out.
I got a wish. I'm hoping it does. It does. That looks mental. Absolutely.
It could do. I think it'd probably be too big for the UK. I reckon it's a big ass truck, but it would be a good billboard.
Oh yeah.
For branding, absolutely. Okay, so you've got Cosworth, Model 3, Performante. What else?
Got to have I'm going to go with the Bentley then. As my
Bentley Continental
luxury kind of car.
Nice.
And then
You've got one more slot.
Motorbike.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. So I'm halfway there, actually. All I need to do is get the Bentley and the Cosworth. I'm there. Dream garage.
And then you're sorted. That's a happy place.
That's 17 years of hard graft coming to fruition then. Okay, I made it. I've got my dream garage. But unfortunately, my dream garage changes all the time. So, that's what happens. But this is what I was saying about the Tesla. It's so hard to actually choose something else that's going to be that practical. I love the fact I don't have to go to petrol stations. Brilliant. Yeah.
At the moment, right now, there's a petrol shortage.
I know. Well, is it a petrol shortage or the truck drivers to drive the truck?
I think it's probably the truck drivers.
Yeah.
My mum texted me and was like, fill up your car. And I replied, like, I've got an electric. It's like, it's fine.
I'm cool. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah. No, I'm not getting that truck driver shortage, but I don't know. It's not my area, is it? So I hear this news. I don't know if it's hype. Half the time you don't know if it's hype or...
I think it's real.
Is it?
I think it is real.
Yeah. I saw in the newspaper someone saying that how much truck drivers get paid. Ridiculous amount of money.
I think they're getting offered a lot more, but there's a lot of people that just don't want to do it. And a lot of the drivers that we used to have been told they need to not live in this country anymore.
I get it. Now I was going to say, that's how stupid I am. I actually was thinking, where have all the truck drivers? How comes we haven't had a shortage all of a sudden? So, okay, I got you.
And then also, I think there's an element of crossing borders is a lot harder than before. There's a lot of like hoops and whatnot you've got to jump through. Like I was chatting to some people about moving cars. Like if you want to take a car to an event now in Europe, it's tricky. Really a pain in the ass. Like it's fine until someone puts like, I heard one where someone had they took like 8 sets of tires or something, changed one out, whatever, one got destroyed or something, and they left it, and then they came back and they look at the log of what you've taken out with you, and they've gone, but you said you had 8 wheels and tires, you've only got 7. Where's the other one? Have you sold it? Like, what's going on? And then they try and charge you for the tax.
Right.
But that can be a spanner. Someone could have just put a spanner in your truck, and they're like, you did not log this spanner. Like, oh, God.
Okay.
Big can of worms.
I'm hoping at some point, I will have the time to actually do some... it's one of my ambitions, one of my dreams to actually start doing some tours and car rallies and what was that the Gumball Rally and what's that one that that's everyone keeps on going on about. I can't remember which one it is, but I want to do that. I want to have the time to be able.
There's lots of good ones.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
No worries. Thank you very much for inviting me. My chair's gone down again, so just can't get out. I need to be changing this chair. I thought, what's it going down? I don't think I put any more weight on. Maybe I did. All that coffee.
Cool. Well, I will see you again at some point for a game of pool and and get on the wall.
Definitely.
And I'll see how the coffee art has progressed. I'll put in some practice as well. See if I can improve mine.
We can have a coffee art off.
We can have a coffee art off.
Lovely.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you.